defensive performance. How does that stack up to just maybe games that you guys coach in your career?
Well, I mean, when we lose a game and we felt like there are things that we could have done to even impact it further in that game, and then like on the first interception, if Shamari keeps on his feet, he bends his knees a little bit, that may go 90, 96, the other way. So that could have had a huge impact on the game. So, really the point, I like to say statistics are really for losers, okay? Because it's really the only guys that look at it, right? But at the same, because you want to win football games, and this is as a team of sport as any. And when you're talking about three phases: offense, special teams, and defense, all three phases got to come together to win a game. So one phase can score 40 points, but if you give up 42, you're going to lose the game. You're not going to get a good feeling from it. So. These guys care, and we're going to continue to build on it.
But if somebody had said Washington's not going to score an offensive touchdown, that you would have taken that, right? Like that. Yeah,
that would have been hard to believe, going in. But at the same time, I mean, I believe in these guys, and the process doesn't change. I mean, our process is the same every week. So, I continually harp to our guys and harp it all week. It's not about them, it's about us. It's not about our opponents, it's about what we do. It's not about what they do, it's about what we do. And our guys really bought into that, and they really took it like, hey, it's a one-on-one deal. All I got to do is my job, and if I do my 1/11th and I'm consistent, things are going to work out.
What about playing Washington State? Obviously, we're probably going to say it's just another game, right?
I mean, it really is. I mean, it really is. I mean, every week it's funny. I've been asked it all week. Like, is this this game's got a little extra? And I mean, every week I don't know how to put any more. You know what I mean? So I don't know how to put any more energy or effort into our game planning or into coaching these guys cumulatively or individually. Just us as a staff, we just follow a process, and we're going to just continue to follow that process. We're still laying the groundwork, we believe, and trying to build what our expectations are on our side of the ball, and we're going to continue to move forward. So Washington State is just our next opponent. Personally, it's probably the only difference is I know a lot of those players, and I got a chance to coach a lot of those guys. Really, if you compare Washington and Washington State, I mean, I've worked with several of those guys, a couple of those guys at different places, but I had a lot of friends on the Washington staff as well, and that I have a deep history with, including the head coach. So really what makes this one a little different is just our familiarity with those guys that are going to be, putting on their pads and helmets, and I know what those guys are about, and I know what their culture is about, and I know how hard those guys play and the pride that they put into it, and that's probably the only difference, really.
Yeah, and Coach Ward, your defense has played lights out each and every week. What would you say is like your coaching philosophy? Is it like necessarily rushing the passer, or is playing deep coverage?
Well, I mean, it's just really situational defense, and we're trying to keep the ball in front of us, trying to stop the run. We get an opportunity to hit the quarterback and get after the quarterback, we're going to do that. And this fly is a problem.
It's been tight bobbing everywhere.
Okay. All right. I wonder if it's a mole. Okay, trying to get information. Just tell the fly to watch this, YouTube or on YouTube, whatever. But no, I mean we're going to continue to be and do what we do, and on regular downs we're going to try to keep the ball in front of us and fit up the routes and take away the deep balls and get people to third down. We get them to third down, we're going to affect the quarterback and try to change his eyes with real pressure, simulated pressure, and then we got to play great defense in the red zone. It's really every week we're trying to do that. And what was exciting about last week is we laid we're continuing to lay the foundation, but it was like in every situation our guys were able to execute, and now we have a standard, and we're going to continue to try to uphold that standard, and if we don't, we're going to know where we need to correct things.
With those turnovers, everyone was obviously waiting for those to come, and they finally came. Do you think that can sort of be like a watershed moment, saying, hey, we can finally do this, we're over the hump?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. In my experience, it really is. It's really, hey, one really can affect, everybody. Hey, this really works. You know what I'm saying? So again, responding to your question is, our red zone defense, our goal line defense, our third down defense, our stopping the run, our, keeping the ball in front of us for play actions. I mean, last week you literally had examples of us doing that, against a good football team. So now the expectation is this is who we are, this is what we want to be, and this is how we do things.
Coach, you say, to piggyback off that, turnovers, come in bunches. Obviously, that 4-1 game, the first 2 interceptions. Like I said, I know it's a tough loss, but when you get back in the room with the DBs, how more pumped are they after a performance like that? Fortunately, we got a great group, and I'm fortunate to coach those guys, and being able to kind of draw things together and kind of connect the dots, and those guys seeing how everything fits off each other, and really the systematic way and process that we do things. Those guys are just always, they're really hungry for knowledge, and they're hungry to continue to develop and move forward. So I'm not going to say it's like more so. I think these guys just love playing football, and they really enjoy playing in this defense.
Going against a quarterback like Cam Ward, you've had success in previous weeks against Shador, against Michael Penix last week. Does that sort of ease the preparation this week, knowing he's also a running quarterback?
Cam is the most dynamic runner we're going to see. Okay, I would rather play the guy at USC than Cam, because Cam, he really is. He's very similar magician. Now, Cam is a gunslinger too. He's dynamic, with the ball in his hands. So it's really hard. Him and the guy from Washington, they're completely different football players. So, our approach has to be different.
Coach, how do you think just you, Coach Cooper, and Trey, just all coming here together, the experience from last year, coming here this year, has helped the defense get to where it is?
I think everything's affected it, and I think none more than that. Coop knows he's my checks and balances. He's a guy that he's going to constantly ask questions. The guy's been coaching for 15, 16, 18 years, however long it's been, and he's in my office 8 to 10 times a day, and he constantly wants to make us better, and we speak the same language, and he's coached in this defense since 2008, or similar styles of defense, so he knows it. He's a guy I just trust, and that was, him coming with, it was or coming here, regardless, because Kenny wanted him regardless. It was it was great for everybody. And have a guy like that as a coordinator is it's invaluable. I've been places where you don't have that guy. You're literally kind of steering the whole ship, by yourself. So it's been great. And then having Trey and having a guy that can get everybody else right. He's really the mouthpiece for the whole defense. Okay, he's the microphone. He can get everybody right. And he's a leader, not only in his actions, but he chooses to lead out front, and it's really fun to watch.
Very aggressive with the A-gap pressure. There's a lot of zero coverage in that game. How's it, how much pride do you have in the way the guys executed what you guys were trying to do? They didn't have any 30-plus yard explosives.
Well, some people like to call it cover 4 or quarters cover. Some people like to call it cover 0. Okay, so just want to make sure here we're just keeping it real there. But no, they like to be aggressive, and most kids like to be aggressive. So we're going to pick and choose our moments like we always do, and if you really watch the film, you're going to go, wow, we really didn't do anything that we don't do, in that game. It was just we were able to really execute at a high level in those situations.
You said earlier that the approach has to be different against Cam Ward. So what do you differentiate for your preparation against him?
Just knowing when and where and how he responds and how he's going to react to pressure or pressure shows, and he's a dynamic guy. So whether you bring pressure or not, he's a guy that's gonna create. Okay, and if someone's not open initially, he's a guy that's he's going to try to make his guys get open, and these receivers do as good a job at getting open on scrambles as anybody in the country.
And then on the other side, Elijah O'Neal got a lot more playing time and really produced. What went into sort of playing him more, and how happy were you with his performance?
Yeah, Clayton Smith got put out in the first, I think it was the second quarter of the game, first third down, second quarter of the game. I'm sorry, second quarter of the game, the first third down in the second quarter. And it was just opened up an opportunity for Elijah. And Elijah's continuing to get better, and he's continuing to develop, and he's a guy that we're going to depend on as we move forward this season and in the future.
Just talking about Trey, I was just talking about over there, just an incredible character. Just what have you learned from this year, just at ASU compared to last year, and just how he's elevated himself?
You know, not much. I mean, he's really pretty much the same guy. He's always bringing energy. He's a really positive guy. He has control of his attitude, you know, as we all do, and he just chooses to wake up in the morning with a smile on his face. And you know, he brings that attitude here, and he knows what we're trying to do here, and he knows that this is a process. And you know, he's a guy that's going to brighten everyone's day, and he's going to lead. You know, he's going to lead from the front in everything he does.
How do you feel like he's inspired the guys around him?
I mean, like I said, just a great attitude. You know what I mean? Just people look at him, they see how he responds to adversity, how he responds to a good play, to a bad play. His demeanor really never changes.
Yeah, over here, so obviously Washington is known as scoring a lot of points, being a high productive offense. So you only allowing 15 points on a high scoring Washington team. How proud does that make you as a defensive coordinator?
You know, I'm proud of these guys. You know what I mean? But really, I'm proud of these guys every week. You know what I'm saying? So if you know this business, I mean, you're only as good as your last play, and as a coach, you're only as good as your last game. So really the focus is on this week, so I'm really trying not to look back and reflect on that. I'm trying to focus on, you know, the coups coming up this weekend.